Okay, I just got to Toledo from the metro, or it was really the train. It's so beautiful here. So this is El Puente de Alcántara, and honestly I thought it would be bigger just based on the photos, but it's really cool. You can tell it's really old, and then it has this medieval city right on top of it. So we're about to go into Toledo. I just got off the train. It's so peaceful here. It really is a breath of fresh air after being in Madrid for 5 days. Okay, so we made it on top of the bridge, but apparently it's a bridge that you don't drive on. So you just walk, and they have little barriers at each entrance so nobody can go in. It's super pretty up here. And it's also 7 o'clock in the morning, so everybody's still asleep. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I almost didn't come to Toledo today because I'm really tired. I only got 2 hours of sleep last night. And it's day 5 and probably averaging about 2 hours of sleep per night. But wow, I'm so glad I did. Look at this. Okay, so I just climbed 1,000,000 stairs to get to this big castle at the top of Toledo. And as I'm walking up, there's like 3 fire trucks, 2 police officers, there's police in the street, police is looking out the windows above. What the building's on fire. Where is it? It's on fire. Like, I guess it really didn't want me to show up today. And now the whole city is feeling this. So no one was actually hurt in the fire. It was a fire on the top floor of a museum caused by some old electrical stuff, so imagine that. It is really sad to hear that they lost a bunch of stuff, but nobody was hurt, and luckily the firefighters were able to get it under control. Also, the streets of Toledo are very, very, very small, like once you get inside of the medieval area. So all of the cars were like barely scraping by the walls, like by inches. And if a car was coming, you would have to step inside of like a doorway or something because you would get squished if not. So that was very unique, and honestly it made me think, like, why are you even driving a car? But some of them were doing construction, so I guess I understand. So today, as I'm walking through the streets of Toledo, I keep seeing all of these like katanas and like swords, but swords that don't look like they belong in Spain, like so from Japan, and I don't know the names of all of them, but I'm like, all right, what's going on? So I look it up, like, why are there katanas in Toledo? And basically, Toledo is where everybody used to get their swords made because of the type of swords that Toledo used to manufacture. They were kind of like the first prototype for using steel in swords, and they were known for always winning battles because their weapons were superior. So there were Roman emperors that used Toledo's steel swords, and there were Japanese daimyos that traded for their swords for their battles and everything. So yeah, there were katanas manufactured in Japan, obviously, but some of the daimyos imported them from Toledo, which I thought was super cool. So in the streets of Toledo and all of the shops and everything, you're gonna find a lot of swords, and a lot of them are themed like Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings, and they'll have like the copies of those, but there's also a lot of them that are just super unique and handmade. And there still is like one manufacturer that makes them today in Toledo. Unfortunately, his shop wasn't open, but it's super cool. It's like a step into the past when you're looking at all of this stuff and how it works and all that. Today they were doing a festival for old people, and I know it sounds kind of weird, but that's what it was about. and they had flowers all over the city, and they were decorating this plaza in front of the cathedral, and they were setting up a stage and everything. And I just kept asking people, like, what's going on, what's going on? And at first, like, I didn't understand what they meant, like a party for old people, a festival for old people, what? But then it was actually really cool because it was like all of these like older ladies on this stage dancing, and like the whole crowd was a bunch of older people, and they were teaching them the dance, and they ended up being like this big collective dance party for like older aged people. Like some of them were elderly, but a lot of them no. But it was just something like super cool and unique to include like that age group in like a festival and what was going on. And I don't know, I just feel like you're never too old.
Tengo una novia flamenca, tengo una novia en Madrid, tengo una novia gitana, tengo una novia moderna que baila, tengo una novia flamenca que canta, tengo una novia en Madrid, tengo una novia gitana, tengo una novia moderna.
Venga con este camarón.
Flor silvestre del campo y no drama para Manuel. Coger coche amigo pardo,
Venga, repetimos.
Tengo una novia moderna que baila, tengo una novia flamenca que canta, tengo una novia.
So sadly, I booked my return bus to get back to Madrid way too early, so I didn't get to see all of Toledo, but I am planning another trip here so I can obviously check out those swords again and go see the rest of the city. So stay tuned for part 2.